Every day is a sin day, always had the bad thoughts. Yeah, drop top on a Wednesday, hey, KQ on a Wednesday. Is it time for change or have the times been changed? Everything I see is so wild and strange. Everything I hear is so wild and days. I must have woke up in a time when my time is changed. Welcome, listeners, to the Highly Doubted Podcast. I'm your host, KQ Dog, and this is episode 138 of the Highly Doubted Podcast. We are back with another week of content for y'all and your listening pleasure. Yeah, man, shout out to all the Spotify listeners, the YouTube listeners, the Apple Podcast listeners, man. Really the Apple Podcast listeners, y'all are showing up in terms of the graphs and the distribution of how this podcast is playing. I see ya. Thank y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with another week with me on the High Data Podcast, man. Man, Lord. It has been a lot. Not saying like things are just not things are happening. I think as the time as I had this last podcast and the things that I was talking about on the last podcast, things have escalated. I am not in the space to speak on those things tonight, whenever you're listening, because I've spoke on it last episode in regards to how I feel about what has transpired since then. I still stand where I stand with that. Yeah, man, go check out the last episode if you want to have that talk. Anyways, moving forward today, like I said before, we will start the episode off with the word of the week. And I had the word and now it's gone. Look at me, just losing things when it's not supposed to be lost. I had it, bookmarked it, had it in a pen, wrote it, but it's still lost. Here we go. Okay, so the word of the week is approbation. 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 It's a noun. It's means for approval, accommodation, or official sanction. Approbation. You are looking for approval. I love these words. These words are so exquisite, especially when you figure out what the cinnamon. Look at me. I can't get words right at the beginning of this podcast. Synonym to what it really means. So watch me start using these words at work and stuff to really shake up the conversation, you know? So yeah, man, approbation. Keep that in your word bank. It's number 2. So what are we talking about today? What is KQ talking about today? What is KQ getting into today, this week, about the road to infinity? Where are we going? You know how I am. I like to go where I want to go. I like to go what's on my mind, what's not necessarily what's going on in the world necessarily all the time, but some things that are going on that I like to talk about. As you know, this is Out of a Podcast, and KQ is here by his lonesome, so he will entertain the masses as he see fits. Let's just get my fandom out the way. We ain't gotta sugarcoat the fandom, which I feel like will turn into another bunch of topics. But let's just start with where we're at. J. Cole has dropped his announcement video for his album. The Fall Off is coming February 6th, ladies and gentlemen. And I am very excited. Not only am I excited, people are speculating that this will be his last album. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm not 100% sold. But the point of the matter is a new album is coming from J. Cole. And for someone who is a North Carolina native, who lives in the area of J. Cole, you are definitely itching to know what areas he's going to pop up in. Is he going to be in Fayetteville? Of course he'll be in Fayetteville. That would be wonderful if he does that. But is he coming to Greensboro? Yes, he usually goes to Greensboro. But is he coming to Spectrum? That's the question, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the question that I need to know very soon. We won't know until time. Time will only tell. We will not get those tour dates until the album is released. But Damn it! If J. Cole's coming to Spectrum for Charlotte for the tour, ooh wee, all those conversations I had with Chelsea about missing Dreamville and missing out on the years and missing out on experience. I want to see J. Cole. And if I can see J. Cole while I'm making money, that's a beautiful combination. So we're just putting our prayers and our fingers together and our hands and toes and everything. We're putting everything together to make sure J. Cole gets the spectrum. Damn it. Um, it'll be dope. It's been some time since he's made his last project, Might Delete Later. And, the whole thing behind that, which is very interesting because now we live in a different type of age in hip hop where the lines are definitely drawn, at least from Cole and, well, at least from Kendrick and Drake's standpoint, but the Cole angle and people who are on the Cole side, as well as I'm just speaking outwardly. I'm speaking generally. I'm not trying to put myself personally into these situations. I'm speaking as a broadcaster commentator. You see, but as the J Cole fans who stuck with J Cole and his take from day one, never really had a notion of wanting to battle Kendrick or wanting to be in the beef with him and Drake. So everything that he's done to this point is on brand to where the fall off is a part of the rollout that he was alluding to years ago, on that viral picture post. So this is supposed to be the final project, or at least it was the last thing on that page regarding albums of music that he was making. So we'll see. It's coming very soon, and I will be here to give a great breakdown because I love J. Cole. And y'all love J. Cole. So I know that'll be a nice listen for y'all, of how I break down J. Cole and how I, just love just good music, and I don't want to disrespect any new artists out there who's doing their thing, but I think I've starting to, as some certain people, if when you hit a certain age, oh, it sounds crazy. Your cap, you start to get a little cap, start getting a little limit, and I think that's bad for someone like me to say personally. But I think just as a music lover and a hip hop rap lover, yeah, I got a cap, man. I'm listening to everything that I was listening to in high school, middle school, elementary school, like eighth grade and up. You know what I'm saying? Eighth grade and up, everything eighth grade all the way to, I say, the last couple years in college. Of course, there's some things that hits past the 2000s, like new artists and stuff, but the majority of my discography of music that I listen to just on a regular is college, which is like 2018 and back. And it's like back before I was born in terms of certain songs I get. That's from my mom. But yeah, I've hit that cap. I've hit that cap. New music is just not as appealing to me anymore. Or the new artist who has XYZ hype is not appealing to me anymore. I don't think that as an artist. I think that just as a music fan and just how hip hop has just kind of been saturated, and I think I'm past the point of saying this is a whole bunch of suck ass rappers. Like, there's definitely talent. There's talent all over the place. I think it's just I think it's at a point where we're living now currently in an age where getting signed and getting noticed by a prominent artist and getting that rollout that we used to see as kids with new artists does not exist anymore. It literally does not exist anymore. Like, that lane does not exist anymore, or it's not even popular or even smart to even go there anymore with all of the truths that's come behind really being signed and the things that come with being signed. So it definitely is troublesome for someone who, reveres the old guard of how the music industry worked. And I'm not saying it from a predatory standpoint. I'm just saying how, as an artist, you felt like there was some sort of a blueprint to get to where you needed to go rather than just none, you know. You just know that when we were younger, artists before us necessarily weren't just popping out of the blue. There was, artist development. So there was years of understanding that this artist was somebody and this artist was going to be, give them time, give them longevity. Everything's kind of quick and to the point now. So it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. So hip hop is taking a different type of angle when it's come to the hottest and the best. Everybody kind of has their own fan base, which is beautiful. So it's not a competition. Bryson Tiller did an interview where he was speaking to how we should stop looking at music as sports and as art because that's what it is. Having the numbers is definitely something to go for when it comes to making money and trying to plan for your tours and trying to plan for your brand. But I think the numbers is only for that. I don't think it should be to compare yourself to the next person or the next guy. I think when I speak on artists being better or an artist being better than another artist, it's not necessarily what they've sold or the Grammys they've had. If the conversation gets there, then sure. I think at the end of the day, maybe for me, and I think every person's goalpost is different for different people, but I think mine is more so what is it really doing to impact the youth? And I know that's not like they saying hug the trees, recycle, not that, but what are you really putting out into the world that not necessarily is we haven't seen before, but what message are you trying to put out? And I think there was a respect level to bring it full circle, there was a respect level that J. Cole had and Kendrick had and Drake had about what their levels were. And each of their levels was their own level. Their masters of their own level to where we would never even, you know, childly, kiddishly debate about who would be better, but we would not do that because they're in their own worlds and they rule those worlds. So there wasn't any need to clash them. I think time has changed to where now there is a strict line of Drake fans and Kendrick fans and even Cole fans and even fans of the three have now skewed looks on them, right? Myself included. Myself included. But it's not so much to their artistry because they're amazing artists. I think when we start to look at how they approach art against the other, that's when we have a room for conversation. And people don't like the conversation because it's really to the point. One person put a song out, took the song back, apologized. End of that. No more confrontation. The other guy went back and forth. And in terms of the people, in terms of the moment for what it was, the people chose Kendrick. That did not mean Drake lost everything. That just meant Drake should not go toe to toe with Kendrick Lamar in terms of creative artistry because there are levels. And Drake is not at that level to meet Kendrick, especially if they're battling each other. If it was more so of who can make the better hit record, who can make a better song with said artist, then that would be more of a conversation, right? Who made a better song? Drake and Janae Aiko from Time or Kendrick and Janae Aiko Stay Ready? So Drake from Time versus Kendrick's, well, it wasn't Kendrick, it was Janae Aiko Stay Ready. Or Sparks Will Fly, J. Cole and Jaiko, right? Those type of conversations I'm more so open to debate when it comes to who's better in certain pockets, right? Who makes better hit records? I think Drake makes better hit records. I think Drake makes the better hit records out of all three of them. Who makes more introspective music about about self and doesn't do it to where you get lost, but you well they all three of them do that actually. They all three of them do that very well to the point where each of them hit different parts, but they're all hitting the same person, right? And I think we love that. I think now that it's kind of been tarnished to a space where we can't, or the industry or the hip hop community or the hip hop world, at least the young kids, as far as the hip hop world, doesn't think that the two can still coexist. Um, for all intents and purposes, I don't blame that narrative, especially of how far it gotten. But the whole point was Cole. The whole point was Cole. Cole is coming back for this song, for this project, and I think for the Cole fans who were waiting for him to put this project out, he's on brand with what he's doing. He's on brand what he's doing. He's staying out the way. He's just trying to be the best artist he can be in his time and his age. He's battling nobody but himself, and that's where we get the best music from him. So I'm excited to hear this. I think it will be very I think that it will be very. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I feel like this will be very consistent with what happened between Cole and Drake. I think part of the fall, part of the fall off, God forbid, not all of it, but I think part of the fall off he will mention, or where there will be some underling mentions of Drake and Kendrick in the fallout. Um, with that, fallout, not fall off, but the fallout of that, you know, if if J. Cole was the guy I think he would be, he would have a song with Cole. I mean, he would have a song with Kendrick and have a song with Drake. Maybe not on the same song, but he would definitely have them both on the same album. That would definitely be something that I could see J. Cole doing. I would hope there had been, because I know him and Drake have made more music, obviously, from the last project of Drake's For All the Dogs. So I can imagine that Drake and Cole have made some more music, and I hope that they release it because they, you know, now I was about to lie. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, girl. Wait a minute. Because I don't think Cole and Drake really make a lot of music together. I think they've only made in the morning. Yeah, they only have. Oh, Jodeci Freestyle. Yeah, okay, 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 okay. I take it back. I am not the biggest fan of J. Cole and Drake collaborating. I'm not. I'm not. I just had to be honest with myself and look at the songs. First person shooter. That's J. Cole's song to me. In the morning, wasn't a big fan of that song. I know the women love that, but not me. Evil Ways wasn't my Jodeci Freestyle. That was way before, and I didn't like that. Yeah, they don't actually have a lot of. They don't have any songs I like for real. Now that I say that out loud, they don't. Cole and Kendrick do. They make good music together. I would like to see if Kendrick and Cole have more music or new music. That would be nice. That would be nice. But that was my wishful thinking. My wishful thinking is both of those men are featured on his album. I hope that's something that could happen. Um, yeah, I just killed that. Two birds with one stone. Um, so the other half of this podcast, since this would be a fairly short podcast, I say that all the time, but I mean it this time. It's really sports. I don't really have a lot of extra topics today, at least not at this moment. Probably next week there might be a flood of topics, but not this week. But football, like I said before, I'm really just coming back to update for my last podcast. The Indiana Hoosiers beat the Miami Hurricanes. I would have lost a bet. Would have lost the bet. I would have lost everything if I put my money in my house on it. If I put my money on it, I'd be broke. I'd be broke. But the Hoosiers won. Indiana won their first national championship. Shout out to them. And the quarterback, who is supposed to be the shining light beam of the college world, will be entering the draft, and he will most likely be number one. And the team who has the number one draft pick will draft him, and he's supposedly supposed to lead that team to the promised land. But I'm gonna keep it very short and sweet, people. The team that has the number one draft pick has not had a good history of round one draft picks. So we'll see. I'm only saying that generally as a football fan, not anything invested or emotionally, because like I said, if you've been hearing this podcast, you know where I'm at with it. So, yeah, man, shout out to the Indiana Hoosiers for winning the national title. And I also was half right with the Super Bowl playoff predictions in the NFL. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I said the Bills are going to win. I said the Seahawks were going to win. I said the Texans were going to upset the Patriots. And I said the Rams were going to beat the Bears. I was half right. The Broncos beat the Bills, which was very sad. The Seahawks smack attacked the 49ers. The Patriots overcame the Texans, even though the Texans played horribly. And the Rams outlasted the Bears. Man, them Bears, man. Caleb Williams, man. You definitely made a name for yourself this season. I ain't gonna lie to you, brother. You definitely did your thing. You definitely did your thing. So I tip my hat off to you. We'll definitely be looking at you next season and seeing what you're gonna do because you brought it. You brought Chicago to a whole new level. You almost had it. Almost had it. So now we are down to the last four: the Patriots, the Broncos, the Rams, and the Seahawks. I am going to say this now. I feel like every single team that I choose, even though I just said I was half right, every single team I choose to win loses. Every time. The team that I generally think is going to win loses. So I'm going to do it like this. I do not want the Broncos to win because I do not want any team in our division to win the Super Bowl, especially the fucking Broncos. I'm sorry. Why did I say that? Because that doesn't exist. I just don't think the Broncos would be a great Super Bowl champion this year. Not the way that the season went. That's just how I feel randomly. So I would want the Patriots to win. But it's not about what I want, it's about what's going to happen. So the Broncos are going to win this game. And for the Rams and the Seahawks, in my soul, I feel that Matthew Stafford is going to pull out a win and go to the Super Bowl because he's been having an MVP season. But the Seahawks might beat them. And the Seahawks might win. So I'm going to go reverse call and say Broncos, Seahawks. That's who I think is going to the Super Bowl with my reverse picks. So that is where I'll stay with that. I don't really have any more information or speculation on the Super Bowl because I'm only watching when I can watch and watch when I can because I work a lot. Again, work is working, and we have a lot of events happening, especially a lot of basketball games. I don't even talk about the basketball season because we're just the Hornets. Yeah. So let's just keep it at that. Um, but no, man, I'm definitely just trying to tap in with you guys as much as I can, try to get you guys updated on life and what life is about. Like I said before, this is a fairly minuscule short episode, but I guess I will spend this last topic, this last segment, if you will, on the updating of my album, Incessant Love. I know that I don't talk much about it, or if I do, and people who talk to me and you hear me talk about it, you're like, here it goes again. Just then turn it off. But for people who are invested in the process, the week by week, play by play of my mindset with this project as it's going through the process of being bought and being recorded and being promoted and all the stuff. You can always tap back or listen back to these moments where I'm just talking about it in real time, basically giving the interviews before I get the interviews type. But right now, in this time period, with this being this early in the mid January area, I'm basically getting the people that I want to be involved in this project to really see if to really get them understood of what I'm trying to do, right? The songs I'm trying to do, parts I'm trying to do, things of that nature. I have songs that I want to do by myself, that I have with myself that I'm going to start off with, but I definitely want to get the people that want to be involved um, ready for what's to come. As you guys know, or if you don't know, I changed this project 50,000 times. Still probably going to be changed 50,000 more times. People who've heard certain songs, I think the songs are still on there, but there are more songs that I've made or songs that I didn't put on past projects that I think fit this project, the mold. And I'm just in my own head, in my own space with the songs, trying to fit the theme, trying to make sure that it all comes together. Not trying to be perfectionist, not really, but more so just trying to make sure that project makes sense and make sure it's good music at the end of the day. I want people to have fun or get excited when they listen to my music, or it creates euphoric feelings. Dopamines come when you hear my music. I want that intention. And I think that's why I'm going so hard. I think that's where maybe in the past that's always what I've been wanting to do with my music, but I've never been able to vocalize it and say it right now like I just did. And I think that's a difference between every past project and this one, because I can I'm aware and I can speak to what I want the intention of the album to be. And it's for the ladies. Ladies, hey. I have some information. This is real quick and crisp. There is a certain song, and I have not said it. Hopefully, this might be the first time I've said it on airwaves. But I have a single named Demon Time, which is very popular amongst my close knit friends that I've let hear this song, to where it's been a damn crime that I haven't recorded this and I didn't send it out yet, right? If I were to lean into the hype that my people bring to me with this song, this could take over the world, or take over the digital world, at least the viral TikTok world. Wasn't my intention, but it just happened like that. So I think today was another reminder, or another confirmation, if you will, that this song is like that, because I had a friend of mine, special friend of mine, who was in the vicinity while I was rapping this song Demon Time. I actually did it for him, and he enjoyed it. And I did not expect him to enjoy it. And I'm gonna keep him anonymous because we're just gonna hold off on him. But I'm usually a name dropper, but I'm not gonna drop his name. But I just know you, brother, excuse me, you shaking and jiving to that song after I sung it was like, okay, if he fucks with this shit is out the way. This shit is out of here. So my single Demon Time will be coming up very soon, along with Pretty Diamond Every Night, along with Lover's Thorn. I have singles. I have singles. I have music that I have ready to drop. And like I've been saying, it's time. But I didn't want to be like I have been in the past and drop a single and then leave you with nothing for a bunch of time, right? And I think that's kind of been my problem. I haven't been able to load the clip. And then when I load the clip, I don't have anything beyond that clip. Because so when I unload the clip, what else? And I think we're living in a what else society / music industry to where I can't just do that and think that will get the results. So I will be absent from dropping music or being public or branding of my music until I have the plan A to Z. So it is a machine and it will continue to run. It will continue to loop in terms of the promoting and the music as well as the podcasting. Like there's a lot of things on behind the scenes that I'm trying to work on to make sure that I do not just have a minimalistic, bare minimum type of promotion rollout for any of my stuff, right? Even as I'm doing this podcast today, right now, from where it's been, I'm not going to do the whole sob story, but yeah. So that's where it's like, there needs to be more. I'm not trying to compete with the next podcaster. I'm not trying to be a better artist than the next rapper in the city. There is no need to try to compete when you are trying to compete with yourself, because once you are in competition with yourself, all you're doing is being better, and the growth I think will scale in a much more genuine way than trying to look to my left and right and trying to pace and scale from what they're doing. And I will be honest and humble and say I've done that. I think that's kind of where I've kind of had success, but the success was not long term because it wasn't genuinely from the internal competition. It was looking at this person or looking at those people. So that could be a lesson God gave me to get me right back on square one again and build it up more genuinely, and therefore it could be prosperous. And I'm cool with that. But I know the biggest thing right now is just to be consistent and make sure I have something to give you guys every week. So to wrap everything up, I am in album mode. 2026, KQ will be dropping music. KQ will be having music with other people. KQ will be outside making videos and just on Instagram and on his podcast and having people on, even if it's not visual, definitely just having more voices on this podcast like it has been in the past. And, just have a good old time. It doesn't always have to be a big monologue speech about how I feel about the world. And sometimes it doesn't have to be about me and what I feel about myself and reflecting sometimes. And like I had said in the beginning of this podcast, this origin, that this is about the people. It's about people. It's about meeting people, talking to people, sharing ideas, having highly doubted conversations, and, just real thought provoking things, funny things, comedy, sad, dark, light. Like I said in earlier episodes about the dynamics of how far and wide this podcast can go and who we have and what we talk about and where we go with it. It's endless. So I'm just understanding how much we've have expanded like a rubber band. I've seen how much we've expanded and how much we're capable of and what we have the capacity to do. And right now we're back at a more like a more miniature level again. But I know how far I can bend it with the elasticity that it's been before without breaking. So, that was an interesting metaphor. But yeah, man, I just want to make sure that the approbation that I'm getting is from genuine people that really support this brand, this highly doubted entertainment LLC brand that I have, this music that I have, this aura, this being, this soul that I have inside of this vessel called a body is giving you the best it can give you. You know what I'm saying? That's just all I'm trying to do, at least for this podcast, giving you my voice. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my job because they have my body and my voice every single day. So shout out to y'all because they're the ones that make me happy to come on the podcast and give you guys the other half of me, the less than 8 hours of sleep that I have of me before I go in for another basketball game and a concert. but I love it. I love it. But yeah, man, I'm not going to talk y'all over and over about nothing. So I'm gonna drop this mic and end this podcast at the 35-minute mark. I appreciate y'all for listening to this short little episode. I am not gonna cheat you out from this. You know, this is one of those rare ones, but I will not give you a bunch of BS. I also will not cheat you and just rambling for another 30 minutes about nothing. So I will leave you with your day, your week, and I hope that you guys are enjoying and being safe and, really keeping your head strong in what's going on in 2026. All of these things and all this, all of what the world, and man, I can talk about that. But again, I will end it early because I will not rehash what I've brought from last episode. But yeah, man, be safe, love your people, love yourself. This is the Highly Data Podcast. I'm your host, KQ, and we out. Bye. KQ on a Wednesday, hey, drop top on a Wednesday, sunroof with the hot top, drop top, talk cheap while you in state, hard life when your hard knocks, every day is a sin day, always have the bad thoughts, drop top on a Wednesday, hey, KQ on a Wednesday,